Alexander Rossi, his best finish of 2017, also his best finish since he won the 100th Indianapolis 500 in May 2016. Alex, you told me earlier you knew exactly where you stood on Friday when you arrived, and it wasn't in a great place.
Really bad, yeah.
But the improvements that your team has made over the past couple of days to get you the second place finish has been incredible. Take us through that effort and ultimately what led to this podium finish for you today.
It was, we were really at the bottom of a barrel. We're staring into the bottom of the barrel, I guess, Friday afternoon, and we were really lost. We were the slowest of the four Andretti Autosport cars, and here is a tough place to recover from if you don't roll off strong. So we had a lot of soul searching Friday night, and we stayed. It's probably the latest I've stayed at a racetrack in a long time. So we just really analyzed everything that we could and made some pretty solid changes overnight that suited me really well Saturday. And then it gave us something to fight for Saturday afternoon. And then today, again, we made a pretty big step forward. And it's just a huge relief to finally get a podium and get it off our back. I mean, it's been something that we've been close to and searching for a long time, and it hasn't happened. So finally, we made the right calls, and we had the car to do it. And I'm just very grateful for the team for that opportunity.
Of all places to make large improvements as a team, Toronto isn't typically one of those places where teams are capable of that, just because there are so many different corners and surfaces to this track. What do you think the team was able to figure out or put together that helped them figure that situation out and make such large improvements?
Well, it's a very good group of guys. And if you look at where we were last year, being kind of the last four cars in qualifying, to having three cars in the top 10 and really, having something to fight for today, it's a testament not only to this weekend and the strength that the team has shown, but also this offseason and how much better 2017 has been for us, has been for Honda. And it's just, I think things are finally starting to come together. We've been looking for a breakthrough this year, and I think this is it. So hopefully we can take this momentum and carry it forward to tracks that we should be really strong at. And I look forward to doing that for the next races remaining, and hopefully we can climb up and get that win.
Questions for Alexander? Yes.
Congratulations on your podium finish. With your extensive road racing background, I think for some it might be surprising that it did take you this long to finally reach the podium on a road and street course. Why do you think it took you that long to adjust, and do you think this could be the first of many podiums or maybe wins too?
Yeah, I certainly hope so. I think it's no secret that we as a team have struggled the past year and a half, and this year was the first time that we really made a step forward on the road and street tracks. The ovals were definitely our strong suit in 2016. And, I think there was a couple this year that got away from us anyways from mechanical issues and whatnot. So I think this was a bit overdue, but this is an incredibly competitive championship, more than anyone really gives it credit for, except for the people that are involved. And that's something that I learned right away in my debut in St. Pete in 2016. And when you get a podium and a win here, it feels like you've accomplished something pretty cool. So it's, yes, hopefully the first of many. And like I said, momentum is a pretty powerful thing in this sport, and we'll definitely use this to carry us forward for the rest of the year.
Other questions for Alexander? Yes, Jeff.
Hi, Alex. I just want to know about the yellow when it came. You had just pitted. At that point, did you kind of realize that the luck was falling your way and you really had a chance to shot at a podium?
Well, I knew it wasn't going against us this time, so that was positive. And I knew that when we made the decision to pit, James was really struggling. So we pitted not because we were anticipating a yellow. We pitted because we wanted to get clean air, and we made the most of the out lap because we jumped all the guys that stayed a lap longer than us. And so that was really the key moment of the race. And then the yellow coming was just good fortune. And we've had enough bad fortune that it was nice to finally get it.
Yes, Bruce.
Also, you had some company there with teammates Ryan Hunter-Reay and Marco Andretti up there in the top six. How important is that, backing it up with your effort?
Oh, it's hugely important. As we always say at Andretti, when one car finishes or one car's doing well, kind of all cars rise, and I think there was a really good example of that today. And like I mentioned before, the difficulties that we had last year, especially in Toronto, they were pretty significant. So to rebound like we have is pretty incredible, and something that's very hard to do in this championship and the sport in general. And, I think the addition of Eric Bretzman and Jeremy Millis have been huge in the contribution to that. And I feel like we have a really good group of people, and we're making progress every weekend, and that's what you got to do.
Yes. John.
A lot was made about the weather going into today for both the drivers and the fans. Despite the fact that it didn't downpour, there was trickles here and there. How much was the threat, though, of a storm, that western front they were talking about, and the radar playing a factor on the course and in your mind?
It wasn't playing a factor on the course, but in my mind it definitely was. I mean, turn 6 was getting really dark, and I was just waiting to come through there one lap and it just be completely wet. I mean, it was dark clouds, and there was a little bit of specks of rain on the visor. So when you're at the limit in these cars, on these types of tracks, that can be very detrimental, or it can be very positive depending on what end of it you are. So we're paying very close attention to it, and I'm just happy that it held off for the fans. I would have loved to have been able to drive in the wet. I think we could have closed on Joseph if that was the case, but it was a great show for the fans and a huge turnout, and really happy to be here in Toronto.
Patrick.
Alexander, were you surprised that the race went green so long at the end there? It looked like it was getting treacherous just to keep the car on the track, and the marbles were, and comment on the marbles, please, but with the marbling and everything else, are you surprised we didn't get another yellow towards the end?
Not really. I mean, with the quality of drivers in this field, I mean, there's been a lot of races we've gone green to checkered without any yellows. So, no, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, when you see how close it is in qualifying, how quick everyone is, and the level of performance that everyone seems to have, it's what you got to do now. You got to train for that. You got to mentally be ready for that, and you got to have a car that can do it as well, because you don't have the ability much anymore to recover the tires under yellow. And you got to be able to manage the tires and the thermal degradation that you get as well. So I forget the other part of your question. The marbles. Right, yeah. No, I mean, the marbles were bad. I mean, I think they're bad everywhere. I mean, that's just part of the sport. And when there isn't a yellow and a chance for the sweepers to get on track, it makes overtaking pretty difficult when it's already pretty hard. So it's just something you got to deal with. It's the same for everyone.
Yes, sir.
With you and James and Joseph pitting earlier than everyone else, how much of a concern was fuel at the end, or when did you find out that fuel wasn't going to be a concern?
Yeah, I mean, it was something we were paying attention to, and we had to hit a number. It wasn't insane, and the Honda engine's pretty good at fuel mileage and still being able to run a pretty decent performance. So yeah, we were saving, but it wasn't anything that was too difficult to achieve. And with about 5 laps to go in the final stint, I got the go-ahead, and that's when we started to close on Joseph again. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. He was so strong all day that it was going to take something pretty significant for us to pass him, but gave it our best shot.
Bruce.
2 quick questions. One, between you and Joseph, you're both considered 2 of the young stars of the series. This could be the first of many battles that you guys have throughout your career. How important is it to see drivers of your age group out there winning races, fighting for victories? Then I got a follow-up.
Yeah, it's very important. The crazy thing is the old guys of you are still pretty damn fast. So figuring out how to beat them in qualifying is something that we got to do and keep working on. But yeah, I mean, it's important that the young guys are getting results, right? Because is what's going to keep the sport growing and moving forward in the progression that it is going at the moment. So it's great to see Joseph doing so well. I'm chasing that next win. He's gotten a couple more than I have, so we'll keep working at it. But yeah, like I said, I mean, there's a lot of really good guys in the championship, so it's good to just be able to be in range and within fighting shot of getting wins.
And looking ahead to Mid-Ohio, what's your outlook on that track? How much did you like racing there last year?
Mid-Ohio was one of the only tracks that I knew last year, so I liked it a lot more than all the other places because I wasn't guessing where I was going on Friday morning. So I'm looking forward to getting back there and improving on what we had. It was the first time, I think, that we made the top 12 in qualifying in Mid-Ohio last year. So, that was one of our better races. So I think that with the improvements that we've seen this year, we can expect to hopefully be in the top 6, and qualifying is very important there. As we all know, it's hard to pass. So we need to focus on that and hopefully be in the top 3 in qualifying and go from there.
Any final questions for Alexander? Congratulations.
Thank you,
We'll
guys.
see you in
Appreciate
Mid-Ohio.
it.